Okay, welcome Aaron. How are you?
Ano lang po.
Okay, welcome Jo Marie. Okay, welcome Maymay. How are you?
Good morning po, sir.
Good morning. Let's just wait for 2 or 3 more, then we'll start our week number 8. Okay, good morning, Shadrach.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, at least 5, we could have start already. So, as a matter of announcement, this midterm may be a little bit different because it's not just a multiple choice. No? Some questions there's a required solution. Solution. So, yun yung magiging kakaiba sa midterm nyo. And of course, it will cover topics from the start up to the end of the midterm. But of course, majority of the questions will be coming from our topics this midterms. Perhaps 30% or 70% would be coming from our latest recent topic in midterms, while 30% I will derive from the previous one. Or it could be a combination. No? Okay, good morning, Val.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, so I think, again, Pastor James is not around. So, ayan, parang naulit na to dati. No? Yeah, and then, actually, I announced so medyo frustrated lang ako, no? Not in the sense that, na for you, no? But for Pastor James, no? I mentioned last time, you're my witness, that we should have a prior notice on our absence, okay? So, prior notice means at least 1 day before the class, you inform me ahead of time before taking a leave of absence. No? So, yan. So, okay, naka-strike to na sa akin si Pastor James. No? So, mamaya kakausapin ko siya. Ano bang nangyari sa kanya. Though, mahalaga yung kanyang gawain ngayon. No? I think he will be attending an evangelistic crusade. I have no problem with the excuses you may have, no, for my class, but I want you to follow or practice prior notices on your absence. It should be a prior notice absence, no problem on taking a leave of absence on my class. Okay, but do not ask permission on the day of your absence. No? I hope guys that's clear, no? And again, I'm sorry to tell, but Pastor James, strike to na sa akin si Pastor James. No? So yan yung nangyari sa kanya. Ginawa niya yan ng prelim exam. Okay, pinagbigyan ko siya. Sige Brad, kumuha ka ng, you take the exam after your pastor's conference. You know, again, I don't have anything against attending those stuff. But the issue here is prior notices. No? This is not an emergency basically because these are planned activities. So if you plan activities ahead of time, you should ask permission or ask a leave of absence ahead of time as well. I think that's quite logical. No? Okay? So, yun lang. Maybe Pastor James, your friend, you could chat him. No? So that's a dilemma. I still praying that many will be saved on his evangelistic activity today. Nevertheless, no? Strike 2 na siya sa akin. Does not matter, but sa strike 2, meaning on the 3rd, I may ground him for dropping the on my subject because technically he will be incurring 20% already. No? So this is the 2nd time. There is actually a 3rd time because there is another unexcused absence before. As per the record of my mind, I think my I asked you to record. I don't know if James is there, no? My on the time that I want you to record our attendance. He's not also there. He's not present. So pag umabsent pa siya, so ibig sabihin naka-strike 3 na pala. Pag isa pang technically unexcused yung absence though pinayagan ko dahil because of it's a ministry. Nevertheless, the violation is not on the excuse but on the prior notices supposedly given a day before the activity. Okay? So, yan. Pag strike 3 na, I don't know what would happen to him. No? Nevertheless, I hope he have learned his lesson the first time, but he haven't learned his lesson. He still ask permission on the day of the absence. Alright? So, guys, I hope that is clear. All right, that instruction is clear, though it's not. I've not written it down, no, but verbally we agree. I'm the one initiating it. I'm the one that uh, to regulate this classroom as your classroom manager. No, so you need to follow some rules, and these rules are necessary for you to balance your ministry. In fact, attending here at LD Woosley Bethany colleges is a ministry in itself. No, I already explained that to you. This is a ministry in itself because it's under the oversight of Bethany Baptist College, Bethany Baptist Church, no, which is a local church in Makati. So that enrolling or attending classes is a ministry in itself. Okay, so you need to respect the time of the professor, the time of the student, and the time that was given to us by the institution. So that's why you need to have prior notice, even we know for the fact that your reason is valid. And of course, attending to your church activity is valid, but you need to have prior notices. That's what Pastor James failed to do for the second time. Okay, I hope this will be a lesson to you guys. And I don't want to make it on a personal level to Pastor James because I don't know him personally, but I'm just responding on the evidence that we have. Evidence number one, he failed to have prior notice on the prelim examination, no, but I still give him chance to take the exam on that day. And then another one today, he give just the notice today. No, it's not a prior notice actually. When you say prior notice, it's at least a day before. Okay? So he failed again. Well, he may have reason for that, but of course, as a children of God, as a disciple of Christ in your respective churches, you need to make a sense of discipline in yourself, no, by becoming a diligent student. Meaning the diligence here is not just to study the Word of God, but a wider picture of being diligent is to giving your best to the Lord. Is this your best to the Lord? Of course, you will. Yes, it's best to you for you to have on your church activity on the time of your class. No, but so how could we resolve that? Prior notice is a good way where we could, in a way, go into the middle. No, so you ask permission ahead of time, and I will think of ways where you could catch up. No, that's the time that I do not give catch up after. I always give the catching up before because you are the one that are asking a favor to be excused today because you have a church activity that's valid, no? But since you're doing a favor, you should ask that ahead of time so that I will give you an advance activity that will be equivalent to your absence today. I don't give activities afterwards. That's already favoritism for me. Okay? So I don't play favorites here, whether you're a pastor, a member, a missionary, a deacon of the church, or whatever your position in the church. That does not that beside the point because I'm your professor. We are all believers in Christ, brother and sister. Unfortunately, I'm your professor, so I am the one that is actually in authority on this classroom. No? I decide which one is to regulate, and one of the regulations I addressed to you before is prior notice. I think I overemphasized that already. What do you think, guys? Can I have an audible response from you?
Yes, sir.
My is yes. I think some of you have heard that already. So maliwanag naman instruction, no? Though, yeah, for the sake of our non-Filipino brothers, I really don't want to speak in Tagalog. All right? Again, Pastor James is on absence today. Yes, I will excuse him for his absence today, but not excuse for the activities today. So every one of you will generate scores because of your participation today. I call it online activities. Take note, online activities part of your grading. No? So we have the exams, 40%, then online activity, and then offline activity from time to time. I'm asking you to do something that's an offline activity, and then readings. No, readings basically just a bonus points for you. No, readings. No. So you don't fail on readings, of course. So every students are actually expected to read their notes ahead of time. All right. So much so with my litany. I don't want to sound like a parish priest here. Of course, I'm not a priest. I'm in our church. I'm a deacon and a preacher. I'm an adult Sunday school teacher. As a ministry, I'm the seminary administrator or lead tutor in our church. No? So at Bethany, I'm your professor. No? So of course, all of these are part of our ministry to the church. So we would like to encourage young people to continue on your education, Christian education, as math majors. All right? Sige, let's open the word of prayer. Father in heaven, we thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity where we could continue our week number 8 with a new topic on functions and graphs. And thank you, Lord, for the past period that you have provided to your student. At an average, all are faring well on the exams. And I praise you, Lord. This is the result of their diligence, the result of their hard work on studying. I pray, Lord, that they may develop skills appropriate as they becoming a math teacher on their respective schools or church ministry. And we honor you today, Lord, as we may continue to start a new topic, that we may gain insight from it, and that your Holy Spirit bring guidance and understanding to every one of us. I also pray for Pastor James. He has evangelistic activity today, though there are violations on the rule on prior notice. Nevertheless, Lord, it's a greater purpose that I pray that more souls will be saved for the glory of God on that mission in Samar. I pray that you'll also take care of Pastor James and the rest of the evangelism team of his church at Grace Way Bible Baptist Church Bible Baptist Mission in Samar. And we thank you, Lord, for this opportunity that we could minister one to another as fellow laborers in Christ, that we may encourage to continue to do what's according to your will. This is our prayer in Christ's name. Amen. All right. Okay, guys. So, sige. So far, I hope you already read on functions and graphs, and then I will immediately connect this to equations in one unknown. So that would be your linear equation in one unknown. No? So we will be dealing with literal equations and word problems as well in one unknown. No? But of course, we need to recall what we have already discussed in terms of your readings and exercises that had been provided to you. I hope and pray you're reading your PDF files attached to your classroom. These are essential theories. There are solved problems where you could always practice by your own, because to become a good math teacher, you need to practice well. No? You cannot be an automatically good math teacher. You need to practice the concepts, apply this personally on your own time as you study problem solving and other supplementary problems included on the material. So that's the purpose. Though there are some cases there are long readings, it's worth reading, and of course, and also worth applying the theories on solved problems. No? So that's why I use this material, no, for college algebra. So far, what we have gone prior to your problems, prior functions and graphs. So we have, as a matter of recap, so number 1, we have fundamental operations. So those are topics that prior to your functions and graphs, we have that already. So the fundamental operations are discussed. And then we have here the next to this is special products. Why I'm mentioning this, because as I told you last time, you will still encounter some items related to these topics, no? So we're not just focusing on the recent topic for midterm, but also previously. Now that will be so the scope of your exam will be larger on midterm, no? And on the final exam, it's a cover to cover exam, meaning all of the topics starting from the start up to the last topic will be covered in the final examination. Well, what's the purpose? For you to have a continuity, a sense of continuity in terms of your skills, computational skills and theories. No, you should not play favorites on which topic should be your favorite topic in algebra. Perhaps I would like only to learn factoring without special product or radicals. No, you cannot do that. You cannot be selective in your topic. You should embrace all topics in a particular math discipline like college and advanced algebra. All right, special products have been taught to you, and opposite of which is factoring as well. So if you think you have some still difficulties on this, you could practice, no, through the uploaded material. Of course, since we are in still on this blended learning, we may not teach all of them, cover everything, no, through classroom teaching, no? But instead it will be supplemented by your reading. So that's why readings is essential, no, for college student. So don't just depend on the professor's lecture on the day, but it should be supplemented and you should be prepared by your advanced readings, no? So that's the college way of learning. No, it's not a spoon feeding that you have experienced in your elementary and high school days. No, it should not be the case. Okay, we have one top chat on our YouTube. By the way, we are, for recording purposes, we are broadcasting live on our YouTube channel, CBC Ministries online page. Same channel that I broadcast my morning devotion. It should not be the case. All right, so I think my audio is still clear on that broadcast. So after factoring, okay, we have fractions as well. No? So these are the listing of our topics prior. By the way, I will be sharing this Google Docs later. No? So you don't need to screenshot, but of course you could screenshot if you want. But later on, I will share to the chat box this very document. No? Since I'm doing this in a Google Forms. No? Fractions, we have discussed that. If you still have difficulty with dealing with complex fractions, you still have time for that. Even factoring special product, I would be expecting that you master that already. Since these topics are not new to you, this had been taught, though you may still have some difficulties. Now it's time for you to relearn. No? Then fractions as well. Then concepts of exponents is necessary. And then lastly is radicals. No? So radicals. Though I still have some special topic, I may taught this on the latter part of the final examination. What are those special topics? No, of course, I would like to teach also on complex numbers. Is this part is related to your quadratic, no, complex numbers, right? Though I will announce now when it will be taught to you, and then also yung variation, no, regarding ratio, proportion, and variation. So these are special topic that will be taught uh, at the end of our semester, so which is still part of your final examination. So you have ratio, a proportion, and variation. All right, so these are topics, and then these are fundamental inputs to your functions and graphs. Okay, so that's why we are now coming in with functions and graphs. No, but this is just at a glance. We will focus on equations in one unknown. No, so both for linear and quadratic, or even higher order in one unknown. No, so that would be our focus, perhaps today and the following week. No, the following week. So we will have that as well. Of course, in study of your functions, now we need to understand some concepts. For instance, I will call somebody to define these concepts. If you have read already the material, yan, so yan, you could okay, who would like to define variables? So variables, okay, I'll be having a round robin. Val, can you define variables? What are variables? Val, are you there? Can you define variables? Variables versus constants. So that's Val, are you there?
Sir, I forgot, sir.
So how will you differentiate variables from constants? Okay, on your own word. I believe you encountered this already.
A constant, it's like it does not change.
Okay,
It
meaning
does
one
not
value.
change.
It represents
sir.
one value. How about variables?
In variables, maybe it changes.
It changes or
It changes dependently.
all right. So you're thinking about physics, but in algebra, variables represents a set of values, no, a range of values. No, it may range from this limit to another to a lower to upper limit of value. Say for instance, a range of integers from 1 to 100. That is variable because the value, say for x, could be equal to those range of values. That's why it varies. It varies or changes depending on the equation that we are being analyzed. Now, for constant, regardless of the relation, the equation that we may have, constant will remain the same, single value. So that's the difference, no? So on your notes, it's defined here symbol which may assume any one of the set of value. For instance, variables, say x, y, z, we may use the alphabets. For variables, say x, y, z. So these are variables, no? How they represent? They may represent any numbers at all or any values, no? But when for constants, no, say 1, 2, 0, or say the Euler's number E, or perhaps the pi, no? Ay, wala pala, hindi pa equation to. So I will input here, no? So input ko muna yung aking it's good thing we have equation editor here. Okay, so we have here pi, of course. Pi is the one of the a well-known constant, no, etc. So this has specific values regardless of the equation that you may have, no? So that is constant. All right. Hey, Jemuel, are you there? Jemuel, are you there? So I'm your turn now. So how about relations? So can you say something about relations?
Hello, sir.
Okay, ano ang relations? Can you define that, Brad?
Yung ano po, domain pa yun.
Hindi, wag mo muna
Domain
banata
tsaka
ng ng ibang terms. No? Just define it on your own words. When you say relation algebraically, what do you mean by that? Wag mo na banggitin yung domain sa kayong range. It will come out later. Kapag sinabing relation, what comes in your mind? Yun muna. Saka natin, from there, that definition, i-derive natin ano yung domain, ano yung range. Ano muna dapat yung maunawaan mo sa relasyon?
Yung ordered pairs.
Yan, ordered pairs. No? These are ordered pairs. Or ordered pairs. No? As mentioned in your notes, ordered pairs. Pag sinabing ordered pairs, normally, na two-dimensional system, it's X and Y. Ngayon, sabihin, afterwards, so yung the values of X now, anong tawag doon? Ano? Okay, anong tawag doon sa values of X? Okay, yung value, yung X mo ngayon, ito na yung tinatawag mo, Brad, na domain. Tama? Ito yung first value. Yung first value.
Yes, sir.
Okay, first, ang tawag dyan ay first component or first value, no, which is normally an independent variable. Independent siya. Ibig sabihin, meron na siyang automatic na set of values, no, that could be substituted to that variable. So independent variable, which is basically your first component or your first value. First value or component. Normally we call it the domain. The domain, no? The domain. Domain are the set of values of X, no? Then yung set of values of X that is valid for the function or relation for this case, no? Okay, first value. So, ano yung sumunod? Ano yung Y? Ano? So normally it's masasabi natin na ito yung X value natin, no? Normally, normally. No, kasi meron tayong Cartesian plane. X-axis is the values of X is your domain. How about the other? Kung independent si X, anong tawag mo, Jimwell, sa Y? Kung independent si X, ano si Y? What is Y? You will just, in fact, that's the opposite. What's the opposite of independent? Jimwell?
Dependent.
Yan, dependent variable. So, dependent siya. Y is dependent on the values of X. So, this is the second value. Okay, or the sometimes second term or second value, whatever, or component, or sometimes we call it the range. Okay, so normally we use variable Y to designate the range, no? All right. So it says here in your notes, the set of second component is called the range of the relation. All right, so the range of the relation. So the independent, si X, then si Y ay range, now, which is the dependent variable. So we have an example here on your, I will quote from our example here, or for example, for instance, a relation. Example of a relation. Okay, so we have a set of relation here as defined by your by the brace. Say 1, 3, 2, say 6, and 3, 9. Right? So here is the question is what is the domain based on this relation 1, 3, 2, 6, and 3, 9. So the question is what is the domain? Jumuel, still your turn to answer. What's the domain? Based on those relation 1, 3, 2, 6, 3, 9. Jumuel?
Ano, sir? A set of possible implementing.
Hindi. Itong example, look at the example and give me the actual values of your domain. Sabi natin, yung values of x or independent variable or first value, ano ba yung mga first values dyan? Jumuel. Ano ba yung mga first values na nakikita mo? Sa 1 and 3, ano yung first value? Or first component? Jumuel, ano yung mga first values ng relation? Ayan, kitang-kita. Titingnan mo lang yung relasyon. Kay 1 and 3, ano yung first value? Jumuel, ano yung first value kay 1 and 3? Sino yung first value doon sa 1 and 3?
Yes, sir.
Ha?
2, sir.
Anong 2? 1. 1, Brad. Sa 2 and 6, ano yung first value?
2, sir.
2. Oh, so obviously, ano yung first value sa 3 and 9? 3, di ba? So those are the domain. No? Guys, those are the domain values. Now, next question obviously is what is the range? What's the range? Sige, Januel, tapusin mo na tong ano na to. Tong concept na to. So 1, 2, 3 ang domain, ano yung range mo? Jamuel. Okay, louder please. Anong range mo ngayon?
3 saka 6 to 9, sir.
3, 6, 9. Yan, tama. 3, 6, 9. Kasi yan yung mga second values ng ordered pair mo. So therefore, they are the range. Or sometimes we call it a dependent variable sooner or later kapag tumupunta na tayo sa function. Okay, thank you, Jimwell, for your participation. Kay Maymay naman tayo ngayon. Maymay, are you there? Okay, so we define already a relation in terms of domain and range. All right. Now, what is a function? The next question is function. Can you describe a function?
A function represents the relation of the element of the domain po, sir, which is paired with exactly the element of the range value. Okay. So yung each element, no, kaya siya magiging function, the function, what happened to the two? They went away already. All right, so ayan, good that Aaron come back again. All right, so Maymay is correct there on the definition of function. All right, so there is what we call, for each element of the domain, there is an exactly one element. Take note, the definition, it will be a function, a relation will be a function if
each element of the domain has exactly one element. Take note, one element of the range. That's the definition of a function. A function is a relation, no? It's a type of relation. We could browse through your book, no? Based on the exact definition, such that each element of the domain is paired with exactly only one element of the range. Now, if one if one of the values for your domain has more than one corresponding elements to the range, it's no longer a function, but a mere relation. All right? So that's the idea on that, okay? So let's look at an example here. Now, for instance, so what can you say on this first example, Maymay? Is it a function or a relation? For the previous example that we have, is it a function or just a relation?
Excuse me, sir. In what example po, sir?
The previous example.
So, example po sa domain and range.
Yes. Is it a function or just a mere relation?
It is a mere relation po, sir.
Why?
Because
Take note, I'm getting per definition that each element of the domain is paired with one element in the range. Is that true on this example?
meron pong sir, meron pong dalawa na dual function.
So partly a function and a relation at the same time?
Yes po, as what I can see.
Okay. So okay. So what are the function? What part is the function and what part is the relation?
Ano po, sir? The functions are the 1 and 3 and the 3 and 9 po. They are functions.
1 and 3 and 2 and 6.
Opo.
How about 3, 9?
1 and 3 and 3 and 9 po are relation. So they are considered as a function po.
2 and 6 is not.
Yes po, maybe.
Okay, sige. Let's visualize. Okay, let's visualize. I don't know if I see it properly. Visualize natin, guys. Okay, tingnan natin kung... Okay, so I will assume here a variable, no? So the first pair is, okay, first point A is 1, 3, right? Then we have B. Point B is 2, 6, right? And we have, I think I need to enter this first. Okay. So A is 1, 3. Okay. And B is 2, 6. Okay. Then C is 3, 9, no? 3, 9. Okay. So let's observe these points. What can you see? Either form a linear equation when connected.
Yes, sir.
Oh. So if they are forming a line, no? So in fact, any 2 points will determine a line based on the definition in geometry. But there are 3 points that are collinear one to another, no? Assuming that you will have a line that will be crossing through these points A, B, and C. So meaning there, for every value of domain, there's a corresponding value of range, right? So 1 corresponds to 3, 2 corresponds to 6, and 3 corresponds to 9. So that's exactly your definition of a function a while ago, my. So there is a one-to-one correspondence in the sense that one for each value of range, there is a correspondingly exactly one value. So meaning, our example is actually a function. It's a relation and a function at the same time. Because there are relations that are not function. If it is not, if it violates the definition of one-to-one correspondence, as far as every values of your domain or your x would have exactly one value for range. And that is happening here, graphically speaking. No? So 1 will correspond to 3, 2 corresponds to 6, and 3 corresponding to 9. And of course, basically, you could draw a line. No? You could draw a line for this. No? Ayan, no? Best fit line. Tama, May? By this time, you will agree with me that they're forming a linear equation, and a linear equation is a function.
Yes po, sir.
Okay? So, okay, thank you, May. I hope that clarifies our definition. Right? So the example we have here, as we go back to our, yes. So it's a function. A function is a range such that, I'll just quote from your textbook that I uploaded. It's found on 12.13. Chapter ano to, yung functions and graphs, C 12.13. Okay? So I will not anymore type the definition, but says here relation is such that element in the domain, each element of a domain has exactly one. So meaning one value, hindi pwedeng magdoble. No, halimbawa, may isa kang range, ay may isa kang domain, tapos may dalawang value, hindi pwede. No, hindi pwede. Dapat isa lang. Eksakto. Exactly one element in the range. Alright? So, okay. I'll be giving another example here. Okay. This is an example of a relation that is not a function. Okay? So, what we have a while ago is a relation that is a function, as is specified here. Okay, I will just edit this ints. Right? So we have, I will input some items here, no? And modify them. Say 1 and 2. Okay? For letter A, I think balik ako. Actually, kinagamay ko pa lang itong Algebra na to. Okay? So we have here at point A, 1 and 2, right? That's your point A. And then point B. Okay, point B is 1 and 3. Ayaw nga tanggapin. Okay. And then, point C, say 2 and 8. Okay. And then, okay, 3, 9 for letter D. Okay, I don't know if we could see that clearly here. So here are the plot of graphs. Now, graphically we could identify. Perhaps I could have tools here, the best fit. Best fit line. Ayan, hindi siya tumutugma, no? Kasi yung dalawang yon, yung best fit line, no? Pero ito, hindi yata, no? Parang ayaw yung ano yun. Select several points or list of points. Okay, because hindi siya pwede sa isang function or linya, no? Pansinin niyo. At the same time, guys, if you look carefully, now graphically speaking, will you test whether a relation, by the way, is this a relation? Jo Marie, is this a relation? Yung example natin kanina. This one, this graphical presentation, is this a relation? Okay, yes, but basically, is it a function also? Are you sure? How come it becomes a function? Take note, each of the values of the domain has a corresponding exactly one value for the range. So hindi pwedeng maulit, no? Hindi pwedeng ulitin. So for the case here, what violates actually the relation and it's not a function because of this A and B. Take note, A and B, 1 and 2, and another 1 and 3. Take note, as we go back to our example here. No? Sige, isusulat ko dito. So yung example natin kanina sa ordered pairs, yes, they're ordered pairs. That's why they are relation. 1, 3, and 2, 8. And then 3, 9. No? Alright, so nung prinat mo yan, by the way, the acid test for this, no, the test where we could have is a vertical test. No? In your vertical test, there will be no 2 points that the vertical line will pass through. For this case, it failed the test because if you will have 2 points, if you have a line, okay. Oops, sorry. Okay, if you will have a line, it will pass through these 2 points, guys. If you have a vertical line passing through the relation, of course, you could draw a curve, no, that will pass through here. Unfortunately, wala kasing ano yun. Unfortunately, when you draw a vertical line, it will intersect point A and B. And if there are 2 points, at least 2 points where it intersects, it is not a function. It's just a relation. Take note of that. Graphically speaking, when you plot a relation in a Cartesian plane and a vertical line passes to at least 2 points, not only a single point, but 2 points. No? On that Cartesian plane, it is not a function. It's just a mere relation. Okay guys, make sense? Nagets ba yung pagkakaiba? Jemuel? Alright. Sige. So yan yung, that's why sometimes we could express functions in terms of equations. No, equations, right? Or of course, relation also could be expressed in terms of equations, but not necessarily a function. All right? So there are examples there. You could just, for instance, no? Let me go back to my drawing board, no? Okay, function notation later on. So, for instance, no? The question here, that we would like to ask is, meron na agad si Google ah. What is the range and domain siguro? Inunahan niya ako. Domain of range, domain and range, no? So it would be x and y pair. What is the domain of okay, let me have my equation editor here. Y is equal to x squared plus 2. Okay, if we will analyze this, Jemuel, can you tell me the domain, the set of values for x of the independent variable, wherein the function y, because y is actually another name for y is function of x. F of x is also equal to y. That's your dependent variable. And what are the values of x where your f of x or y is valid? Jemuel. Okay, Jemuel, what can you say about the domain or the range of values of x where your function could be a valid function? Oh, you're here, James. Kumusta ang yung Brad? Ang yung crusade? Kapatid.
Hindi pa, meron pa po, sir.
Oh, okay lang ba?
Okay lang po, sir.
Oh, sige, usap tayo mamaya. Give me a call later, no? But anyway, sige, 0. Ang 1 hindi pwede. Kunyari, 0 squared plus 2 is 2. Ang 1 hindi ba pwede, Jemuel? Hindi ba pwede? How about 10? How about 1,000? Oh, so give me a generalization for values of x or domain. So your domain, o 2, pwede rin. Pero 2 squared plus 2 is a valid value. Actually, kahit negative eh. Negative 2 squared, still valid. Negative 2 squared is 4, so it's a real number. So what will be your domain? Okay? So I already giving you clues. Pwedeng 1,000, pwedeng 1 million, no? Tama ba, Jemuel? Jumel? So what will be the answer? I'm already probing the answer. Kung pwedeng 1, 2, 3, pwedeng 1,000, pwedeng 1 million, ano yung domain ng function? What will be the domain? Right? What will be the domain? Okay, Jumel, you have issues in your internet. What's the domain? It's anyone, guys. Yan, all possible or technically all real numbers. All real numbers. So dapat nasa element siya ng real numbers. All real numbers. No, that's the answer. Right? So, okay, Jimwell, how about the range? What will be the range? So ano yung magiging resulta? Kapag sinubstitute mo yung all real numbers doon sa x squared plus 2, ano yung potential value ng range mo ngayon? Okay, Jimuel, can you hear me? Or you could just chat, no, if you cannot answer audibly. Okay, Jimuel, what's the range? Infinity. Alright, so actually, may limitation. Alam niyo kung bakit? Kasi may minimum value. Though hindi tayo nag-set ng maximum. Ang minimum value ay yung pag sinubstitute mo yung smallest possible value ng x. Ano yung smallest possible value ng x? Jemuel. Zero, di ba? Zero. 0 plus 2. So, what is the minimum value for y? It's 2. Kasi yung minimum value ng x is 0. 0 plus 2. So, magsisimula ka sa 2 as your minimum value. So what would be how will you present that relating to all real numbers? If the minimum value for your range is 2 and beyond. So, hindi siya talaga 0 into infinity, no? It's starting from 2 kasi the smallest value of x is 0 plus 2. It's always minimum of 2. So, therefore, okay, all real numbers, okay, all real numbers, that is greater than equal to 2. Okay? Kasi ang minimum value mo ay 2 or more for the range. Okay guys, make sense? Clarification? No? Clarification? Question? Okay, Nancy Maymay. So I need to move on. No? Alright, next. Aaron, this is for you. Same question. What is the domain and the range of the given function? No? I'll be typing a function here. A given function of the range, or f of x is equal to y, obviously. So this is equal now to a fraction x minus 3. Okay. So same question. Aaron, give me the domain and the range of this function. Okay, Aaron, it's your turn. What will be the domain? What will be the range? Okay, are there any values of x that will make the function invalid, Aaron? Aaron, are you there? Okay, yes. So therefore, what's the domain? If 3 will make the function invalid, therefore, what are the range? What's the range of what is the domain of the function or the relation? Okay, values of x such that x is what? No, kasi valid it cannot be all real numbers because 3 is an exemption. So make that as an exemption, Aaron. So therefore, what will be the domain? Now the domain would be, no, since it's invalid at 3, x such that the value of x is not equal to 3. Okay, so that's the not equal to 3. Okay, no, it could be less, Jomar. It could be less because pwedeng halimbawa 2. 1 over 2 minus 3, negative 1. So it's still a valid value for the function. Except 3 because it will have a division of 0. And you know, division 0 is not permitted in algebraic operation. All right? Makes sense, Aaron? So your domain now is the values of x not equal to 3. Any value you may think that is not equal to 3. Now, Aaron, I want you to look at the range. What will be the value of range? For this, no? Aaron, can you, or perhaps same as true with the domain, what is the impossible value of the range? So that could be your range or set of values of y, right? So here I would just simplify real numbers not equal to, anyway, it could be x, no? Real numbers not equal to 3. For the range, What do you think is the impossible value for y? Aaron, it cannot be based on the given y is equal to 1 over x minus 3.
Real numbers po, sir, that is not equal to 0.
Alright, because it's impossible to become 0. Because the only way for y to be 0 is for the numerator to be 0. And since your numerator is 1, it cannot be equal to 0. Correct? So real numbers not equal to not equal to 0. Right? So that's your range. Make sense? Okay, that's the okay. So now your function notation, I already mentioned y is equal to f of x. So that's how will you pronounce it? Y is equal to f of x or function of x. Right? Let me have it in its equation editor. Y is equal to f of x or function of x. Okay, normally we substitute the value in terms of the values of x to solve for the value of y. For instance, if you have a particular value here, for instance, say, all right, say y would be equal to, of course, f of x, whose value is this, x squared minus 5x plus 2. Okay, we may ask ourselves what is the value of f of 1. F of 1. James, are you still there? Can you tell us the value of f of 1 by just mere substituting the x to the function? Okay, the one that is missing is Shadrach, no? I think Shadrach has a connection issue. Okay, okay, let's compute, no? So we have substituting 1 squared. Okay, 1 squared minus 5, 5, oops, sorry. 5. Ano ba yun? Okay, 5 times 1 plus 2. Okay, simplifying further, James, what would be the answer? Simplifying. So 1 squared is 1 plus 2 is 3 minus 5. What's the answer? Obviously, it's negative 3. So negative 3 is the answer. Right? So negative 3. Okay, another. Same function, James. I want you this time to solve for same equation. I want you to solve for x, x plus delta x. X plus delta x. Yan, it's negative 3 because negative 2. 1 plus 2 is 3 minus 5. Yeah, correct. Negative 2. Yeah, correct. So negative 2. James, this my last question for you. Derive f of x plus delta x. Now, delta x is a separate variable treated. No? Okay, so Shadrach is not around. So he's the supposedly... Val, I already asked you a question, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's Shadrach's turn after James. So delta x is treated as another variable. Oh, Aaron, are you with Shadrach? Aaron?
Yes po, dito po.
Okay, sige. Later I'll ask him also. After James, no? James, what's your answer? So maybe we could expedite the answer here. Substitute. So you have x. You have x. So x plus delta x needs to be substituted. Okay, x plus delta x squared. So that's how will you do this. Minus 5 times the quantity x plus delta x. Yun lang. Teka, lumagpas. Teka. Kailangan putulin yun. So I will start stop here. Siguro panibagong equation na lang. So you have minus 5 times the quantity x plus delta x. Alright? So of course, the constant may not be affected. So still a plus 2. So from there, yeah. James, are you still there? You may simplify from here. Okay, sige, I'll wait for you. Sige. Okay, you may simplify. No? And perhaps you could just type your final answer on the chat box. So of course, you could expand this. Okay, as x squared plus 2x delta x plus quantity. Okay, so that's the expansion of the first. Minus 5x minus 5 delta x. Okay, plus 2. Okay, sige James, you just type your final answer. Okay, sige, tuloy natin. Alright, so from here, we could just simplify, no? Simplify further. Let's observe whether there are still we could factor out. Now, perhaps, I think that's already an answer, no? What do you think, guys? What do you think? Oh, answer na. Simplify. Kasi hindi na natin siya masisimplify, no? So, kung ano, minus 5x plus 2, may iwan dyan ay 2x delta x, 5 delta x. Yun na lang may iwan. 5x delta x. Oh, yes, may. Noted. Oh, ano na to? Simplified na. Okay, sige, I move on to Shadrach through Aaron's account. Alright. So, Aaron, Shadrach, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, same problem pa rin, ha. Please take note. Malaki lang yung font ko. Take note of the same problem we have. F of x equal to x squared minus 5x plus 2. So from this, from that assumption, since we are doing some function notations, this is the original equation, x squared minus 5x plus 2. Okay, so from the work of James here, I want you to solve this one. So medyo, pasensya na, medyo komplikading sa'yo. Okay, so ito. Pero it will ano, makikita mo naman yun na ano. So sinolve na natin yung f of x plus delta x. Alright? Solve na natin siya. I want you to subtract that to f of x. Alright? And divide it with delta x here. Madali na yan, Shadrach, kasi we already solved. This is already the answer. On top is the answer. F of x plus delta x is that match expression, no, yung on top. Then you will just subtract it with f of x, and then the difference you divide it by delta x. Then just give me perhaps verbally, audibly, or on the chat box your answer. Okay? So that's my question. Okay? Did you get it, Shadrach? Through Aaron's account?
Hindi po masyado, sir.
Okay, ito na yung f of x plus delta x mo, Shadrach. Ito na. Ito yung buong to. Ito na. Ito na yun. Given na nga eh. Idudugtong mo na lang. Yeah, that's your f of x plus delta x. But I want you to solve for f of x plus delta x minus f of x, meaning the original function. The original function. Ito, f of x equal to x squared minus 5x plus 2. I want you to subtract that, and as you subtract, you divide the difference by delta x. Then we will have a result. I know already the result, but I want you to compute. Okay? Ina, meron ka ng delta f of x plus delta x. Meron ka ng f of x, yung given. You just get the difference and divide it by delta x. Okay? Sige. So definitely you will have an answer there. So there are cancellations. Surprisingly. If you're done, you could audibly share your numerator first, of course. There's a numerator. And then, of course, in the denominator, is there's a delta x. It will be cancelled, surprisingly. Delta x will be cancelled, no, in the denominator. By just giving the numerator value of their difference.
Sir, sa numerator po,
Okay.
ang nakuha ko po, 2x delta x plus
Okay, sige, go ahead.
delta x squared minus 5 delta x po.
Okay, 2 delta x
Delta x po
minus plus minus.
Up. Plus po.
Okay,
Delta x squared po.
delta x squared.
Opo.
Okay, good. Yes.
5 delta x po. Minus po, sir.
Minus 5 delta
Delta.
x. Okay, good. Okay, of course, subtract them with the all over delta x. So this will be, ay, baba ko na to. Mahirapan to. So dividing all over delta x, so what we have is wala na palang fraction kasi na ano na, natanggal na, no? So we have 2x na lang, 2x plus delta x minus 5. Okay, when you divide delta x. Yeah, is this correct?
Opo, sir.
Okay, sige. That's correct actually. And then sooner or later in your calculus, when you will have your calculus, your delta x will approach 0. When it approaches 0, that becomes the derivative of a function. Okay, what we're doing here is a delta process already. So delta process of your derivative, no? So yung missing lang doon, yung mismong differentiation, which is the limit of the function as delta x approaching 0. So if I will do that, I will introduce, it will be introduced to your differential calculus already. But that's beyond the scope of our, we're only until here at this particular point. So in terms of our function notation. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you Shadrach for that. And the rest of you, the 7 of you, who, do I miss somebody? All of you had been asked already a question. All of you guys, no? All of you guys, no? Already received a question. May I already asked a question, no? Tama. Yan, okay. So I think everybody received a question. Okay, let's move on. Now there are cases, guys. There are cases that there are functions of 2 variables, no? So this involves 2 independent variables, no? Not only one variable independent, that's f of x. Now these are 2 variables that are independent. So normally we could express that in terms of z, that's the 3rd variable. Okay. Z is equal to f of x and y. So meaning there are 2 independent variables and 1 dependent variable, which is z. Normally, this will happen in a 3-dimensional system where there x and y are independent variable, and your z is a dependent variable. All right. So, of course, you just look at your example in your notes at 12.6, no, of your lecture notes. No, there are some example there. Okay. I will jump to a concept of symmetry. Okay. Symmetry. Basically, there are three types mentioned here. But of course, there are symmetries with respect to the axis, the quadrantal axis. So that's why we could categorize that as symmetry, meaning yung kanyang para kang you're facing a glass, a mirror, a reflection of you. So somehow one part of the function is reflected on the other, and it could be seen in terms of its symmetry. Later on, I'll be giving some illustration on this symmetry with respect to x-axis or y-axis. Symmetry with respect to x-axis, that's one. X-axis. Obviously, we have symmetry I'll be giving some sample here, no? With respect, obviously, to y-axis. All right. My keyboard is not really. All right. So according to your notes, no, when left half of the graph is mirror on the right half of the graph, we say that the symmetry with respect to y-axis. So meaning if you imagine your quadrant, the second half. Now from first quadrant to the second, then it is with respect to y-axis. On some cases, now it is not on this symmetry but on the side of the x, no? So they are mirrored with respect to x. Now there are cases like that. Okay, and then there is some example of symmetry that is not with respect to x and not also with respect to y, but they are symmetry with respect to origin. With respect to origin. So these are the types of symmetry that we could engage in as we study functions and equations. Okay, let me try to draw some illustration to affect this. Okay, ano natin muna to. Okay. Okay, so this is an example, a classic example of symmetry with respect to y-axis. No? So y-axis. Okay, I will be imputing here. Let me check. Oops. All right. So this is a parabola. Actually, it's a parabola. Can you see, guys, the illustration? It's a parabola whose vertex at the origin, and it's upward. So it's an upward curve. Take note. No, yung left side, yung right side quadrant is just a mirror of the second quadrant. This is an example of a function or a curve that is with respect to y-axis. Okay, guys, make sense? Any confirmation on your part? So this type of a graph is an example of a symmetry with respect to y-axis, because the left portion or right portion is just a copy or a mirror image of the right portion. Okay? Make sense, guys? So this is an example of symmetry with respect to y-axis. Okay? Make sense, guys? Now, perhaps another equation. This time is with respect to, I will create a parabola that is opening on the right. Instead of upward curve opening, it opens to the right. So, okay guys. So, this is a blue one. Okay, and there's a point of intersection here, no? Take note. This parabola now opens to the right. So, this is a classic example of an equation, a relation, or a function that is has symmetry with respect to x-axis. Okay, guys? Does that make sense? Okay. Wait for a while, guys. Medyo... Okay, guys? Does that make sense? Alright. So, my audio is clear, no? Okay. Another type is actually with respect to origin. So, here's an example of with respect to origin. Now, one of the classic function is a sine function. Sine function is a classic symmetry with respect to origin. Or perhaps y is equal to x. I think that's the very basic. Here guys, a very basic symmetry. Can you see the red line? That's y is equal to x, meaning it is not symmetric with respect to x. No, wala siyang mirror dun sa up and down, yung x. It's not even symmetric to your y-axis. There is no mirror on the left or right. But there is a symmetry with respect to origin. No? From the point of view of the origin, no, there is symmetry. Now, that's another example we have. Another one is a sine wave, no? Sine of x. Perhaps I could type it right here. Okay, there. Okay, can you see the sinusoidal wave, guys? That's another classic example of symmetry with respect to origin, because in like fashion, the curve is actually similar with respect to the first quadrant. Okay? Yung similarity niya, katulad ng y is equal to x, it's actually, they're similar. No? Okay, another example this time. Sige, I will ask somebody, no, if he could identify whether it is symmetric with respect to y, x, or origin. Okay, I will have a round robin for this one. I hope your visualization is clear, guys. Okay, made sense, guys? So I will call. Perhaps I would start. Of course, are the only rows among the turns. Maymay, you're the first one. Are you ready, Maymay? I'll just delete here to avoid confusion. No? Are you ready, Maymay? Just tell me what type of symmetry is on the graph. All right, good. Okay, here you go. So, of course, there are obvious graphs here. Okay, take note your origin is somewhere here. Maymay, what can you say about the graph? Your origin is here. No? Oops. Yan, ito yung origin, my mind. What can you say about the graph? What is the symmetry of that graph? Okay, my. So there are only three choices. A is symmetric with respect to x, B with respect to y, and D with respect to origin. Okay, my. Oh, are you sure it's origin? Okay, let me help you. Now, how will you know whether it's with respect to y or x-axis? First and foremost, if your right side is a mirror of the left, isn't it? Oh, ito. Ilalagay ko yung ano, idadrag ko tong ano. Oh, ito yung kanan mo, my. Ito. Yan yung kanan mo. Yung bang kanan mo ay mirror ng kaliwa. Ang kaliwa mo naman ito. Idadrag ko sa dulo. O yan. Yan ang kanan mo eh. Ay kaliwa mo. Mirror ba siya? So what do you think that? Yes, what do you think is this type of function? What symmetry? My, can you tell us what symmetry is this? By the way, this is a cosine function. Hindi sa x, sa y-axis, di ba? My. O, kanan, di ba? O, kanan. O. Ito yun, no? Y, oh. Tapos tingnan mo sa kaliwa, mirror. O, yan. So, ibig sabihin, y-axis. Symmetric to y-axis. And functions that are symmetric to y-axis is normally known as, guys, anong tawag? O, sino makakahula? What function? What function is actually symmetric to y-axis? What type of function? Yeah, in trigonometry. Yan, according to James. What type of function, James, according to your trigonometry, is a function symmetric to y-axis? Anong tawag sa function na yon? Anyone could answer. Okay, siret? Siret o secret? Hindi Brad, iba pang function yan. Cosine function lang ito. So, it's not tangent or cotangent. It's a cosine function. I'm asking what type of function. Ayun, correct answer is even function by Aaron. So, exempted ka na Aaron sa susunod na tanong. That's correct, even function. An even function is like a cosine function. Even function siya. Alright? So, bakit even? Kasi ang kanyang symmetry ay nasa y-axis. Alright, so Aaron and my and Aaron, okay na kayo dahil nasagot ni Aaron yung aking trivia question. Alright, let's move on. Jo Marie, you're next. Jo Marie. Okay, bit ko muna to. Are there Jo Marie? Oh yan, yes. Okay, good. Okay, how about this one? Yan. Jomar, that's yours. Our origin is here. Itong origin. Yung nandun, yung may kamay na maliit. So, hindi ko alam kung nakikita mo. So, ito, yan. Yung gumagalaw-galaw. Ito yung origin. Dapat igitna ako pala. No? Igitna natin. Yan. Ito yung origin. Okay, correct. Y-axis. Still y-axis. And it is also an even function. Symmetry with y, therefore it's an even function. Still an even function. Okay? Okay. Guys, wait lang ha. Pumapalya na yung speaker ko. Wait lang. Okay, in fact, this is a secant function. And, ayan, since nabuksan ni James, anong relation, James, ng secant sa cosine? Ayan, James. Because James is mentioning, oh, okay. Teka lang, masyadong malinaw. James is mentioning a trigonometric function. So, may I ask you, James, what is the relation of a secant and a cosine function? So, ito yung secant. Ito, papakita ko rin yung cosine. Di ba may trigo kayo ngayon, guys? Tama? Bay ng algebra. Ayan ang cosine, no? Hello? May kausap pa ba ako? Meron din kayong trigo, no? Tama? May, di ba may trigo din kayo? Oh, wala kang trigo, Jomar. Oh, di ba sabay yun? Sabay sa ano yun? Algebra? Talaga? Walang trigo? Bakit wala kayong trigo? Dapat meron. Second sem ang trigo nyo? Ibig sabihin. Anong kasabay nyong math ngayon?
131 po, tas 101 po.
131. Logic and Century yan eh. 131 saka 101. 101 is History of Mathematics. Tama?
Opo.
Tapos yung trigo nyo, second sem. Dapat sinabay na ngayon sa algebra yon. Para pagdating nyo ng second sem, solid plain and solid geometry, tapos may konti na akong papasok na analytic dun eh, pag akong teacher nyo. No? And then, may isa pa kayong math. Anyway, so, James, pwede mo bang sabihin yung relasyon ng cosine sa secant based on this graphical presentation? Yung anong gano'n, yung sine, that's the cosine wave, and then yung mahaba, that's your secant or your secant. So what do you think is the relation of the two? Based on this illustration. I asking James, no, if you could answer that. What's the relation of secant and cosine based on the graph? Both are even function actually. So both are even function or symmetry with respect to y-axis. So anong ano niya, relation niya? Nandito ba si James? James, are you still with us? Kumusta naman yung... Okay, can you tell me the relation of secant and cosine based on the graph? Based on the graph. Definitely, they will have a relation, no? A relationship of the functions. Take note. Saan lang sila nag-intersect, guys? O to, I'll give you a clue, James. They only intersect on 1. This is 1 eh. 1 and negative 1. No? The rest, they're not. No? When cosine is 0, what is the value of your secant? Cannot be determined, very high. No? If cosine is 0, the value of secant is very high. Looks like an infinity for me. Alright? But when it is equal to 1, no, since they intersect to 1, definitely that value also is your secant. The secant of the secant and cosine is equal to when they are equal to 1. Equal to 1. No? Secant of x is equal to cosine of x at 1. 0. So 0, 1 rather coordinate. Or it could be negative 1 as well. So what do you think is the relationship between the two? Right? While waiting siguro, I will ask, okay. James, can you give me an answer now? If you know your basic trigonometric functions, you will know that there is an identity between secant and cosine. Tama guys? Lahat ba kayo STEM? O meron sa inyong akad na iba yung strand? May what's your senior high strand or tracking? Are you a STEM student?
Hindi po ako nakaabot na ng ano po, sir, K to 12.
K to 10. You're product of K to 10. Okay pa rin naman, walang problema. How about Aaron, are you a STEM student? Aaron?
Yes po, sir. Yes
Aaron, yes. Also, Shadrach is a STEM student.
Yes, sir.
Alright. How about Bal? Bal, are you a STEM student?
So what's STEM, sir?
Okay. In the Philippines, we call it, this is our strand for senior high school that corresponds to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics portion of senior high school. Is there a similar program on your country like that?
No, I'm taking ACE, so I'm just K to 10, sir.
Okay, makes sense. Okay. No problem. So K to 10. But since you are using School of Tomorrow, right? School of Tomorrow curriculum.
Yes, sir.
All right. So ano pa ba? How about you, James? Are you a STEM student or ano? How about Jemuel and Jo Marie? James is from still, wag mo ilalang Brad. Ano lang yan, K to 10 po. Wag na yun lang. Kasi hindi naman, it does not mean that K to 10 graduate are inferior with K to 12. It's just that naabutan lang kayo ng cut-off doon sa program, no? DepEd program. No? So it's not really inferior. Yan. Tama. No? Hindi, we don't think that way. So guys, what's the relation? The relation, kaya ako tinatanong, at least some of you may have an idea already. Graphically speaking, the relationship between secant and cosine is reciprocal. They are reciprocal one to another. Kaya graphically, when cosine is 0, take note here guys, I will blow this up, the graph, no? Though I'm not so sure if I could blow that up. There, no? At a particular value that x is 0, we have x0 here. What will be the value for the secant? It's infinite. When cosine is 0, it's infinite. When it's equal to 1, no, the secant of an angle is also equal to 1. So, it's reciprocal. Ayan, tama si Jomar, it's reciprocal. Alright, graphically speaking, we have proven that. Okay, sige. For you, Shadrach and Aaron, it's for you. So, just tell me. Okay. So, if, by the way, sige. So, this is for you. Both of you, you could answer Shadrach and here you go. So, this is your function. For Aaron and Shadrach. By the way, this is a tangent function. It's a tangent function. Okay. With respect to origin, correct. Okay. Actually, this is similar to sine. If I will plot the sine function here, y is equal to sine of x. Pero, there are coincidental in some portion. And again, if cosine is an even function, obviously sine function and tangent function is called, since they are with respect to origin, their symmetry is with respect to origin. No? Even function is with respect to y-axis, but sine and tangent is with respect to origin, and they are called what? What kind of function? Okay, I may ask Aaron and Shadrach or the rest of you could answer. Okay, obvious opposite. What's the opposite of even function? May. Even lang, hindi uneven. Even function. Ang even, hindi add function, hindi uneven. Okay din, tama din yung uneven, pero the more simple term is add function, may add function. So here, sine is an add function, tangent is an add function. Alright? So, okay, Val, I want you to comment on this function. Ay, but you already, Aaron pala yung nakasagot kanina ng trivia question. So, it's Val, no? This time. Okay, so I will erase this again. Oops, cancel. To avoid some duplication of. Okay, so here we go. Hey Val, what can you comment on this function? What can you say? Is it with respect to x? Is it with respect to y? Or it is with respect to origin? Or other answers? What do you think? Okay, Val, what can you comment? Can you comment on the function that is shown on the graph? Okay. Okay. My question, let's test. Is it with respect to y? Since this is the half of the graph, is the left side a replica of the right, considering the y-axis?
Yes, sir.
Yes. How about the x-axis? With respect to x-axis, is the upper graph a replica of the lower part?
Same, sir.
Yes. Also, same as... and if you will look at the origin, with respect to the origin, is it also symmetric? So perhaps looking at the first quadrant and the third quadrant respectively, are they similar? The first and the third quadrant.
Yes, sir.
Yes, also, no, Val and Aaron agree. Similar. Therefore, all possible symmetries could be applied to a circle like this one. That's why it's called a circular function. Circular function. Or simply a circle, an equation wherein all of the symmetries could be applied. No? It is respect to x, respect to y, and origin as well. So a circle, no, maybe, or yeah, I think some other, I'm thinking of other, actually conics could be applied, no? There are other cases, for instance, let me check, no? Say, if I will try to, some conics here, no? Conics. Yata, teka lang. Yan. Okay, what do you think about this ellipse? Yeah, circle, yes. An ellipse, is it symmetric to x, symmetric to y, and origin as well? What do you think, guys? Similar to circle, no? Yes. I would think that its symmetry is x, y, and origin as well. Now, considering another type is, I don't know if I could graph here properly, a hyperbola. Okay. Oh, guys, what do you think? Hyperbola. This is also, yes, y, symmetry with respect to y, also x, pareho, and origin, yeah, I think so. It's similar also. All right. Yes. Okay. Thank you for your participation, guys. No? So anyway, these are visualization. Eventually, you will grab this in your respective trigo and geometry classes as well. No? So you may use GeoGebra. No? I think I saw Joe Marie using GeoGebra, right, Brad? No, you're using GeoGebra as well. No? So that's a good tool for visualization and computation. So that is your symmetry. There are other examples in the book. You may repair that as well. And then we will also try to read on ships. No, I may not anymore the ships. There are shippings. on your function, we just read it from 12.8. So that's 12.8. See 12.8 of your notes regarding functions and graphs. And also scaling. Scaling means perhaps you make it twice. Sige, I will siguro I will demonstrate shifting graphically since we have GeoGebra here. So shifts. Pwede tayo magkaroon ng shifting. Let's take an example of a parabola. No? A parabola that is actually upward. Okay, this is an upward parabola, guys. Now, if I will shift if I will shift the x component, guys, what would happen? For instance, I will add 2 to your x squared plus 2. Okay, can you comment what will be the movement of the graph? Okay, since I will be adding something to your x, it will affect your y as well, definitely. So if I will add 2 or add 5, 2. So if I will add, okay, so I will be graphing that on the next graph for you to have comparison. So they're similar. So can you have a tentative comment which if I will have plus 3, halimbawa, for instance, plus 3, the original expression is y is equal to x squared. Then I will put plus 3. What do you think will happen? Going up, going down? So Jo Marie will have a shift. Shifted to 3 units. Where? Up, down, left, right, Brad. Upward. That's Jo Marie's. Let's see. What would happen? Oh, nothing happened. My scale is too high. Wait. There you go. All right. So the blue one has plus 3. So it will go upward. Then of course, if I will say y is equal to x squared minus 3 on the x side, it will affect also it will have a downward curve naman. Alright, can you see guys the difference? So our original equation is the green. So they're shifting upward when you add on the x component. Not on the square, but you will just add 3 units, meaning you're actually modifying it up and down. Kakaroon ka ng up and down. Plus 3, tumaas, because perhaps it will affect the vertex, shifting the vertex from 0 to 0 to 3, 0. So therefore, the blue one is shifting up, the red one is shifting down to negative 3, 0. Alright? Okay, another way to shift is to manipulate what is inside. Okay, what is inside the x squared function. Now you are actually manipulating, if you'll be manipulating the x squared, no? So for this one, what you manipulated is the y component, up and down. All right? Now, let's continue here, no? So this, again, the green is the original function. Y is equal to x squared. What if I say y is equal to x? Y is equal to x plus 1. So I have a shifting on the x. What will be the expected value? Towards left or right? What do you think, Jo Marie? Since you have an access to that apps also, or some of you, if I will say instead of just x squared, it should be x plus 1 quantity squared. What will happen? This time, you are moving left or right because you are modifying the function of x. You're just not adding outside of the function, just like what we have done, x squared plus 1, x squared plus 3, or x squared minus 3. But now, inside the function, x plus 1 quantity squared. So what you are shifting is to the left, to the right, no? So since this is a plus, say plus 2, so squared, not yet done. Oh, wait. Okay, so it will be shifting to the left because the default is x minus a. And if it is x plus 2, it should shift negatively. So it is a leftward shift, no? To negative 2 as your vertex. Becomes your vertex, no? Now, if I would say x minus 2 quantity squared, obviously that will be the opposite. You're now shifting to the right. No? Shifting to the right, 2 units to the right. So x minus 2 squared, lo and behold, it's shifting to the right. All right? X minus 2. Because that's the default formula, x minus a. So it's a positive shift, meaning it's a rightward shift. How many units? 2 units. All right? So you may also play around the combination of the two. For instance, you may have x plus 2 quantity squared plus 2. So you shift to the left, and then you will shift to the right. I think there is a nursery rhyme like that, no? My, what do you think? Shift to the left, shift to the right. Is there a nursery song similar to that? Hold them up high, so clear and bright. Touch them softly, 1, 2, 3. Two little hands are good to see. No? So that's a sounds like of a nursery rhyme. All right. So nevertheless, so Bal is actually laughing on the chat box. All right. So I will laugh here too, as well as my. Okay. Combination, guys. Pag combination, kunyari may plus 2 ka na sa loob ng x, nag-plus 2 ka pa sa labas. So you also have a plus 2. So y quantity x plus 2 squared, and then meron ka pang plus 2. There. So you shift to the left, and then you shift to the top. Something like that. All right? So that's about shifting, guys. So you could read your notes on that on 2.8. Also scaling this time, you could double the value or you could shrink, whether you make it wider or narrower. So that is actually scaling. So scaling is more on narrowing or widening up or narrowing down your function. No? So you could just look at 12.9 here. And then, of course, 12.10 using graphic calculator, but we have an option to use an apps. No, I would recommend GeoGebra. No, there's an apps available. No, now you could go to geogebra.com, or there is an available app for iOS and Android where you could install, no, make some computation and graphical visualization as well. So instead of, but if you have your graphing calculator, it's okay. No, yun lang, mahal, it's too much, no? But anyway, apps are free. You could download GeoGebra apps in your Android or in your iOS as well, okay? Okay, there are other options here of graphing. I will leave that as your reading. Okay. So they have clarification so far. So we still have a little of less than an hour. Okay, before we move on with some solved problems here. Though I will not anymore go with the solved problems in your notes, no? It's for your reading. Now what we could discuss here are some supplementary problems that we will be discussing. Okay, until our time tick, and then next week will be our topic on linear equation 1 unknown. Now I'll be discussing both the the linear equation and quadratic equation 1 unknown, and some solved problems. There are word problems appropriate to it. You may have a background reading already on those topics. All right, so that we will be prepared, because the midterm examination is a combination of multiple choice. We still maintain the multiple choice and a requirement for problem solving. Now, there are two ways to input the problem solving. You could input using codes, but sometimes it has difficulty in coding the equation. No, I will allow some screenshots, no, attached to that particular item. No, uh, that would be the way that so be ready with your stronger internet, guys. So you need during midterm examination, so that I could also, so siguro I will be doing part 1 for multiple choices question, and then part 2 for intended for problem solving, which is basically requiring everyone, except for Jom and Jem, who is on face-to-face, our face-to-face student, and the 5 of you will, uh, yeah, continue on taking photos of your solution, no? Because the maximum time that you could take the exam is only within the time frame of 3 hours only. So during that time. So since we are already in week number 8, 9, 10, so we'll have some discussion. 11, I'll be going back to LD Woosley, no, for some activities, and then week 12 is your midterm examination. All right. Now let's look at some supplementary problems here. All right. So okay, I will flash some supplementary problems here for you to solve. No. So maybe we have another round robin here. Round robin of okay, let me check my files first. I know you're getting hungry already, but not angry. So perhaps a combination. What do you think? You're getting hungry and angry at the same time, no? So of course our time is until 12:20. That's our official time. So we will maximize that, and since we're a full class, I would give you the full hours, number of hours, right? So that's for your advantage, so that we could discuss much in detail the entire coursework for today. All right. I'm still looking at my files here. So far, we have clarification with the previous topic. By the way, guys, sige, I will be sharing this already to you while waiting for that file. So if you would like to have this note, I'll be sharing this to the chat box. You may click it already for you to be saved to your. But make sure you are using your Bethany account in accessing this, because this is only intended for um, Bethany. So anyway, I'll be putting it now on our chat box. So you just save the link on the chat box, okay? So that's this document. The title is MAT121 week 10. So that's our lecture notes. All right? Okay, let me check again my file. No, while waiting, you could now click on that. You save that file. No, anyway, it will be updated if I have something to write there. All right, so right, for a while. Right, so these are textbooks outline. In fact, this is not only for algebra, it's also a pre-calculus book. And it's a good book for you. At the end of the upper algebra, you could PM me, I could give you the entire book for free if you want. Kung gusto mo lang naman, pero kung hindi, okay lang. Okay, so we have here functions, right? Okay, so we'll start with the supplementary problems here. Okay, so we'll see the previous one. Let me Okay, this part of the supplementary problem. Can you see clearly the text, guys? Or, yeah, I could widen pa natin makita yung buong ano. Okay, I want Aaron and Shadrach to answer 12.29. If you could see it clearly, Aaron and Shadrach.
Kita po, sir.
Okay, so I'm giving you time to solve that, both of you, Shadrach and Aaron, a combination. And Jomari and Jemuel, are you together or different room? Magkatabi ba kayo, Jom and Jomari? Jomari and Jemuel? Hindi. Okay, sige. I'll be giving you separate. Okay, Jomari, I want you to solve for 12.30. Maybe you could just type your answers on the chat box. Sometimes equations are hard to type, no? All right. So for Aaron and Shadrach, 12.29. For Jomari is 12.30. This time you're expressing a function, no? In terms of the dependent variable. For instance, 12.29, the dependent variable is area, and the independent variable is x, side x. So everything is relying on x, which is the side, because without the side, you cannot know the area, the perimeter, and the diagonal as well. But there are some derivations that are necessary there. All right. So, and then, yeah, for 12.30 is Jomar. Jomar, you answer 12.30. Okay. So I will open to others 12.31. 12.31. I think I have a better way to open this file, no? For a while, guys, para naman ma-visualize yun ng tama. Mas malaking font style. For the benefit of others, I will be opening a larger font style, no? Sometimes EPUB, no, is better, no? Because we could saka meron siyang text wrapping. Ang PDF wala eh. Image lang yung both EPUB and PDF file of the same book, no? I think this is a better visualization. Okay, so same, 12.29 for Aaron and Shadrach. 12.30 is to answer this. 12.31, who would like to volunteer? Okay. My mic, can you try 12.31? Okay, thank you. And then, sorry, no? Ano na, 12.32. Okay, sige, let's wait for that, no? And then 12.32, open to all, no? Open to all to. So, yun lang, medyo bitin yung, yung tanong, no? Hindi ko na siya medyo palitan ko siguro ng konti. Yan. Yun, pinagkasyang pilit, no? Yun lang, hindi ko mag-drag ng tama. Naku po, nasabi na nga ba. Medyo sensitive yung file, no? Konting drag lang, Dali lang guys, nagulo yung ating, nagulo. So, nagulo ang ating supplementary problems. Ayan, kita na guys, no? 12.32 is driving ka. Sige Brad, sige, ingat ka sa biyahe. Sige, hindi ko na tatawagin si James. Okay, Val, can you try 12.32? Okay, thank you. Sige, hintayin ko yung 12.39.29 natin. Siguro copy-paste ko sa Word to para masagutan natin. Sana kung ma-highlight ko siya. Kung ma-highlight ko lang. Pwede pa lang ma-highlight. So, ibig sabihin, I could copy-paste. Naku, nandito pala yung sagot. Naklik ko. Huwag yung tingnan yung sagot, guys, ha? Huwag yung tingnan yung sagot. Kasi naka-ano to, embedded. No? I will try to copy-paste this, no? Para nasa Word tayo. Ay, nasa Google Forms. Okay, Google Forms. Isa-isa natin. Okay, you work now on your respective items. Something's wrong with my mouse, no? So I'll wait for your computations. No? Then I will paste it to the here. Yun lang, mas malaki yung font style nito. Sana ma-paste siya. Ayun, na-paste niya. Okay. So later on, babalikan natin to. Yan, na-paste na siya. Alright. So meron na tayong points later. So ito, 12.29 to. Okay? Original problem. So I'm giving you until, ayan guys, 12 o'clock. Sana meron na tayo mga points to consider. 12 o'clock. Kasi this is regarding still functions and relations. Functions and relations, equations. No? So at least you will be, by next week, we'll be preparing for the next topic, which is single equations in one unknown, both for linear and quadratic. So handa na tayo doon. More on derivation of formula lang naman itong mga tanong, guys. No? Relating dependent and independent variables. So, yun. Applied to a particular formula that we know in geometry. Right? More on derivation of formula lang naman itong mga tanong. Alright. So, okay pa yung audio ko. Okay, for Jom. Sige, let's discuss Jom's first. No? Alright, so in terms of radius is okay, baliktad ginawa mo, Jomar. Express the area A of a circle in terms of, ang ginawa mo, baliktad, radius in terms of area. Tingnan mo yung problem. Express the area. So area is the dependent variable. In terms of its diameter or radius, yun yung independent mo. So yun yung f of x mo. And then sumunod dyan yung diameter. So mabibuild mo yung independent variable d from the radius. And then, of course, yung circumference from the radius pa rin. So, ang lahat ng sagot mo ay equal kay area. Dapat. Jo Marie, did you get that? Yung sagot mo sa radius in terms of area eh. Dapat area in terms of radius. Ayan. So, medyo okay na to. 2x squared. Mamaya, papaliwanag natin. No? Yung susunod mong pi r squared. No? Pi r squared. Teka. Kala ko kay Jomar, Aaron pala tong sagot ni Aaron. Okay, sagot ni Aaron sa 12.29. No, let me We will check that 2x squared area, and then we have radical sign, 2x squared. Okay, sige, let me check on that. Guys, I hope you screenshot already your respective items. No? You screenshot this because I will be moving on to discussing the solution. Okay, while waiting for Jomari in 12.30. Alright. So sabi dyan, a rectangle has sides x and 2x express the area of a rectangle as the unit of side x. Alright? Letter B as perimeter and letter C as diagonal. Okay, so ang dependent variable ay area. Alright, so let's solve first for side x. So your area, basically, based on the given lengths x and 2x, so therefore the area, so this will be our answer for letter E, area. Oh, no need for title like that. So lalagay ko na lang sa baba to. Right? I hope guys na-save niya tong file na to, yung link ng file. Hindi ko na siya i-upload sa classroom. So dito lang sa chat box. But anyway, it will be part of your Google Drive on this classroom. So naka-save yan dyan. So let's verify the combination of Shadrach and Aaron's work. So X area here, wala yung equation. Area is equal to X. Ano nga ba yung dot na yun? See that? Yun. X times 2X. Right? So therefore, the answer is obviously 2x squared. Okay? So correct. Correct yung sa unang sagot nyo, Aaron and Shadrach. Okay, how about perimeter? How will you express area in terms of perimeter? We need to derive something here first. So perimeter. How will you express that in terms of perimeter? But we need to take note that perimeter, since we already established here, area is equal to 2x squared. Yun yung gagamitin natin. But we need to know the formula of the perimeter in terms of x. That's the first thing that you need to do, Aaron and Shadrach, since this is your item. So perimeter is equal to twice, basically, of length plus width based on your elementary knowledge. Tama? Length times width, which is we substitute x is the width, 2x is the length. No, ang sinagot nyo dito ay 6x squared. So parang hindi pa siya in terms of area yung sinagot ni Aaron and Shadrach sa chat box. So this would become 2 times 2x plus x. This is equal to 2 times 3x and basically this is equal to 6x. Alright? 6x ang perimeter. Pero hindi yan ang tinatanong. Ang tinatanong, area in terms of perimeter. Aaron, Shadrach, can you copy?
Yes po.
Alright, so yun yung dilemma natin ngayon. So paano natin, so therefore, we need to solve for x in terms of p. Alright? So you have 6x, so it follows here that your x would be equal to p over 6. P over 6. This would be your, since this is your equation 1 a while ago, equation 1 yan, no? And perimeter, no? Okay, anyway, sige. So, substitute natin to. Measure 2. Substitute 2. Substitute 1. Right? So, that's 2 substitute to 1. So, what will happen here? So, substitute natin yung buong x equal to p over 6 doon sa area. So, area now would be equal to 2x squared. Then we substitute the value of p, 2 times p over 6 squared. Guys, can you verify, Aaron and Shadrach? So that would be your substitution. Then of course we continue. That becomes 2. So 2p squared over 36, right? Then simplifying further, what will be the simplified form, Aaron and Shadrach? Of course, p squared over yung perimeter over 18. So that's the answer. Area in terms of perimeter is p squared over 18, given x and 2x as width and length respectively. Did you get it, Aaron?
Yes po.
Okay. How about the diagonal? We need to define the diagonal first. Naging ano siya? Diagonal. Okay, the diagonal. We know the diagonal is just the hypotenuse of the sides, x and 2x. So we need to know the diagonal D. Diagonal D, it has a Pythagorean relationship with the sides, which is x squared plus 2x squared. Tama ba guys? Yan yung Pythagorean. Imagine yung rectangle na may x saka dx, yung diagonal niya ay Pythagorean relationship doon sa x and 2x. Right? Simplifying further, so what do you have is x squared plus 4x squared. Simplifying further, that would be 5x squared. Okay? Make sense, guys? And then, you solve for d squared yun, d squared. Hindi pa natin nasa-solve yung d. No? Pag sinolve natin yung d, d would be equal now to square root of 5x squared. Obviously, this is equal to, hindi kasama yung equal to. This is equal to x square root of 5. Okay, make sense? Then, meron na sagot si, sige, I will take note of this in a little while, Jo Marie. Then, of course, then solve for, then we'll solve for x in terms of d. So, so pwede natin siyang sabihin, x would be equal to x be equal to d over square root of 5. But of course, we could rationalize that. Okay? We could rationalize that. Okay. So 5, square root of 5 here. Okay, so what would happen? X would be equal to D, square root of 5. Over 5. Over 5. So that would be substituted to the value of x originally, which is 2x squared. Okay, which is originally 2x squared, no? So substitute natin yan. Okay, since area, as we may recall, would be equal to 2x squared. Substitute x in terms of d. So that will become 2 times 2 times d squared, no? All over 5 pala, sorry. Mali ako. So 5 squared na lang, distribute ko na lang dito. I don't have squared, all right? Actually, kahit hindi ko na siya renationalize dapat eh. Okay, thank you. Noted, my. So from here, so we could say that cancel 5 and then 5 squared is 25. So may iwan yung 5 sa baba. So what would remain here is fraction 2 d squared. That's your diagonal over 5. So that's the answer. Area in terms of diagonal whose length and width is 2x and x respectively. Okay, did you copy Aaron and Shadrach?
Next po.
Okay, let's continue on the work of geometry on 12.30. Express the area of a circle in terms of radius. So this is an obvious question. So ang sagot mo dapat dyan ay pi r squared. Okay, yun lang yun. Simple lang yun. Okay. Okay, so we have area of the circle is pi r squared. Okay? So tama, of course, tama si Jomari doon. How about yung diameter? Now since diameter is d times 2r, whereas r is equal to d over 2, no? Yung diameter or d. Ang gamit niya pala small letter d lang. So gamitin din natin small letter d. So d over 2. Okay, we substitute this to the original area, which is pi r squared. R is equal to d2. Substitute lang natin. Area is equal to pi r squared. This time, it's pi quantity d over 2 squared. Okay guys, so simplifying further, so what we have is pi. So pwede kong fraction muna to. So pi p squared. P squared over 4 kasi 2 squared is 4. Alright, so that's the second part for Jomar. Now, so diameter d. Okay. Do you copy, Jo Marie? Okay, and letter C, circumference. So we need to express your C in terms of your radius. No? So we have a relationship. We know the relationship. The circumference is equal to 2 pi r. Pi r, right? So it follows that r, solving for r in terms of C, r is equal to C all over 2 pi. Am I right, Jo Marie? Right. So you have an answer there. C squared over 4 pi. Correct. Tama yun. Kasi kung isa-substitute natin to, substitute natin yung r doon sa original equation na pi r squared. Substitute r in terms of C over 2 pi. So what you will have there as an area is, well, this is equivalent to pi r squared. So yung ano mo dyan, so this is C all over 2 pi. 2 pi and then squared. Okay, substituting, eliminating, perhaps I could move this to the next line. So, okay, so what you will have here is area is equal to, again, nandyan pa rin yung pi, pero pwede nang mag-fraction siguro. So, pi times C squared over 4 pi squared. 4 pi squared, no? 4 pi squared. But there is a pi on the numerator. So what we'll have here is tama yung C squared over 4 pi. So that's the answer, correct? For Jomar. Then we will go to May's work. C squared over 4 pi. Okay guys, so we'll take note of this. Anyway, I already shared the link. You may review this, no? Yung as part of your solutions, no? To your supplementary problem. Okay, do you still have time for May's work? You are 2.31. Ano bang sagot mo dyan, May? XY over 2. Tama ba yon? Okay. So sabi dito, actually, komplikado yung sagot, May. So let's look at the problem. Express an area of an isosceles triangle, no? So we're repairing her isosceles triangle has a function of x and y. Okay, so meron siyang x and y, where x is the length of the two equal side. Imagine as isosceles triangle, x is the two equal side, and you have y as the length of the base or the third side. All right, so that's the length of the base or third side. So express. We will express. Kailangan natin i-drawing ito. Hindi ko alam kung may drawing sa GeoGebra, pero imagine niyo siguro pwede naman. Drawing natin. Tingnan natin kung kayang drawing. May problema tong mouse ko. I have problem with my mouse. Okay. Ay, lumabas ng ano. Baka nakaano siya. Kailangan nating tools. Okay, tools natin. Okay, meron tayong segment doon. Segment pa ulit. Okay guys, ito yung isosceles triangle natin. Alright? So I have an isosceles triangle here. Mali. So isosceles x, x. So technically, so pwede tayo makabuo ng Pythagorean relationship. Alright? So there's a Pythagorean relationship. Can you still hear me? So we could establish a Pythagorean relationship here. I will just ayan, this is a triangle. X are both congruents and the third side is your y. So segment AB. Okay na yan. So hindi na natin yan. So pwede pa tayo magdagdag ng Pythagorean relationship. If you take note. So pwede kang magdagdag. Ito. So makakabuo ka dyan ng Pythagorean relationship. Half of y, no, yung height niya, no, ay saka yung kalahati. Yung kalahati ng y may relasyon doon sa x in terms of the height. So yun yung pwede nating gamiting relasyon. Yan yung gamitin nating relasyon ng area. Now because the issue here, we'll take note of if we will go back to your original problem here, express the area. So basically, the area is 1/2 base times height. Tama ba? Excuse me. Sinyalis na to na tumahimik na ako dapat. No? Stop. Hey, Sir Ed, stop talking. You have already a husky voice. Nevertheless, no problem about that. We will continue. Few minutes lang guys. No? Few minutes lang. Alright? So we have here, alright, so we have here area is equal to okay, 1/2 of base times height. Okay, so what is the base? Obviously the base is your y. Okay, that's your base. Based on the definition here, y is the length of the third side, meaning it's the base. Okay, so how about the base, the height? How about the height? The height is the perpendicular relationship that that we have made from half of y, no, and then you have a Pythagorean relationship with the length x. This is the length x already. Half of y, so Pythagorean relationship niyan will create x. So definitely, this one, x squared minus y over 2 quantity squared is equal to height. Okay, is equal to height. Kasi 1/2 base times height lang tayo. Yun yung ating pinupursige doon eh. So here, so it follows as I continue here. So 1/2 of your base is actually your y. So I think there's no issue on that y. And then times your height, which is the Pythagorean relationship, no, of x squared minus y minus 2 quantity squared. That is your square. Of course, we'll take here the square root of x squared. All right, x squared minus the quantity y over 2 squared. Okay, so that would be the one that will be resolving, no? So this is actually this is already an answer in itself, if you will take note. So that's how we derive it. But of course, we could simplify it further. Okay, simplifying further, as we solve for the area, so that would become now y over 2 perhaps, no? We could combine that, y over 2. And from there, we could simplify the radicand such that when we square that, no, we could square and then get the least common denominator. Obviously is 4 because 2 squared is 4. So we have the least common denominator, okay, which is 4. That's why you could multiply this to 4. So 4, that becomes 4x squared. 4x squared minus y squared. Okay, so that would be your case all over 4. However, there is a square root of 4. Yahoo! We could always extract square root of 4 that is equal to 2 and we will dump that to 1/2. Okay, so pwede pa natin siyang palabasin na gano'n, no? So we could extract the square root of 4 that is equal to 2. We'll reflect that as a product of 2 times 2. This time, no? 2 times 2 on the denominator side. Alright? So what you have here is y this time times divided by 2 times 2 is 4. Then you are free already. That is free already of the radical symbol. Then what remains inside is 4x squared minus y squared. Okay, make sense, my? Did you copy? So that's the area in terms of x and y. Area in terms of x and y. Right? Make sense? My, I know you're tired. You're hungry, but please don't be angry. Just be hungry. All right. Okay. Thank you, my, for that. Then lastly, I'll just answer this briefly. In terms of the cube, side of the cube has expressed x as a function of volume. I think this is easy. Huh? It's easy. So you know the volume, how to construct it. It's a 3-dimensional solid that has equal length, width, and height in terms of x. So therefore, we could express sabi dyan, x as a function of the volume. So it's the other way around. Not volume in terms of x, but now x in terms of the volume. So basically, we'll get our basis here as we express first volume in terms of the side x or the edge x. Volume is equal to x cubed. So therefore, it follows that x would be equal to cube root. All right. So I forgot the root. Root 3. Oh, root. Oh, cube root. Cube root. Hindi rin. Kalimutan ko yung ano ng cube root, shortcut Cube root. Dito na lang. Kasi may mga ano to cube root. Ito, yan, cube root. Cube root of b. So that's the answer, guys. X in terms of the volume. All right? Now the surface area of the cube, no, x in terms of the surface area of the cube. All right? So the surface area of the cube as a function of x. So this time surface area in terms of x. So madali yan. Madali ito. All right? So surface area in terms of x. We have a formula for that. All right, so we have surface area S or SA. Now sometimes you call it S. It's just equal to 6x squared. So that's the answer. Now basically the difficulty is now letter C. Now the difficulty is letter C. The volume of S as a function of surface area. So we will try to look for since we already have the surface area in terms of x, and then of course we know the volume in terms of x, we could solve volume in terms of surface area by derivation, no? By derivation. So what we have here, we start from the definition, volume is equal to x cubed. Okay? X cubed. And then we solve for the x in terms of surface area. So that's what we're gonna do. No? We solve x in terms of surface area, which is 6x squared. So from here, no, I will take off from this computation. Okay, so what we have here is 6 over x. 6 over x is equal to square root x squared. So therefore, it follows that x would be equal to the square root of x over 6. So that would be the case, no? X over 6. Or perhaps you don't need that because kailangan pala ng x. Kailangan na solve yung x. So yung x mo is basically square root of s over 6 is equal to x. Now, substitute natin yan doon sa volume. Substitute natin yan sa volume, no? So dito, para maging matira lang yung s. So basically, so maghahalong tinapa yung cube saka yung square root. Alright, ganyan yung mangyayari dyan, no? So ganun yung mangyayari. Alright, so okay, I have you guys, spare me some time, no, to derive this. So we substitute now. We substitute. Alright, sige. So s over 6. Then we will raise it to 3. Okay, so that's the okay. So if that would be the case, I will make this as an exponential form. So for us to solve, this would be s okay, s over 6 raised to what? Raised to 3 halves. 3 halves. Okay, so yan yung magiging ano natin dyan. Then I will make cube first, no? I-transpose ko muna yung cube. So ganun yung gagawin natin diyan, no? Transpose ko muna yung cube. So magiging ano siya, s cube. Acknowledging Sir RC Pinoy. Salamat. Welcome, sir, to our college and advanced algebra class, Sir RC. Sir RC is one of our supporter on our live stream. Thank you, Sir RC. No? Thank you for dropping by on our college and advanced algebra class. So what is 6 cube, guys? What is 6 cube? 6 times 6, 36 times 6, 216. Right? 216. Then, okay, so this will be still raised to 1 half. 1 half. Of course, we could express that in terms of a perfect square. No? Pwede tayong magbato ng perfect square dyan. And express natin in terms of perfect square. Kaya pag in-apply yung square root again pabalik, when we apply square root back, there will be some perfect square factors. Obviously, for B, we have here s times s. S times s squared. Okay, because s squared is a perfect square. Here, in the denominator, we have 6 times 36. We have 6 times 36 because 36 is a perfect square. Then we could apply squaring that, no? Apply that radically, that radical symbol, no? To this, no? So what we will have here is S. So apply, balik natin yung ano. Ibabalik natin yan. May iwan lang sa loob yung non-perfect factor. Alright? Sorry. This is 6 times 36. Okay? Okay? So that would be, guys. Then, extracting S will be out. Right? S will be out. S will be out. S, square root of S. Then we have on the side also 6, square root of 6. 6, guys. Then we could rationalize, of course, we could rationalize this by multiplying both sides, both numerator and denominator by square root of 6. Right? So I will move again to the other line here of solution. I hope this will be your copy, guys. I already posted the link. You just access it sooner or later. Okay? So simplifying further, what will be the case here? So that will be 36. Okay, 36. 6 times 6, 36. So S over 36. Your volume here is, but your volume is S over 36. What remains on the radical is, is equal to 6S. Okay, this is the answer, guys, on number 32. Okay. All right. So I know you're hungry and somewhat angry already, but nevertheless, thank you, guys. So next week we will be focusing on equations in one unknown, both for linear and quadratic. Take note of the numerical problems, worded problems will be discussed as well. So it will be, we will have a great time solving one variable by next Sunday, next week, Lord willing. Okay? Okay ba, guys? Still here? Okay? Clarification before we close in a word of prayer. Yan. Okay, thank you, Maymay. Yes, you have your answer there. 216. Yes, 216. All right, thank you. Okay, Jomar, are you still there? Jomar? Can you audibly close us in a word of prayer, if you will? If you please. Kaya ba ng audio mo, Brad? Okay, I think we cannot hear you. May problema yung audio ni Jomar. Okay, sige. Okay, Aaron, can you close us in a word of prayer?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Let's bow our heads and let us pray. Dear God, Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for this hour that you've given to us. Salamat po sa natutunan namin kay Prof. Eduardo Marin. Salamat po sa mga binigay ng lesson sa amin. Salamat po muli. At kaya po sana ang bumabay sa amin sa aming pang-araw-araw na gawain. Bless us as we depart. And, may you give us desire to our heart. Matutong maging maraming matutunan sa aming math lessons pa. Kaya po sana mga natin po kami At patawad po muli sa aming nagawa kasalanan. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Okay, amen. Thank you so much, guys. See you next week. God bless us all.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye-bye. Please read your notes, no? Be prepared for another round robin next week. Okay, God bless you. Okay, don't forget to save this file. No? I already having the link on our chat group. Okay, bye-bye.